Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Russell Matthews here, back with another CRB extension update, and oh my goodness, we finally have an answer from the government. They are going to extend benefits, both the CRB, the CRCB, as well as EI. This will come as an absolutely huge relief for many who were approaching that deadline of the end of March, where they were going to run out of the ability to apply for benefits because they had applied for all 13 of their periods. Now they're going to extend these benefits a few more months. Let's take a look at exactly what the Prime Minister has said, as well as exactly what his federal ministers have said in the following update. But before we do, if you haven't already done so, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to keep on getting Canadian updates that are important to you.
In the spring, we created the Cerb to help you keep food on the table and a roof over your head. In the fall, we extended programs like the wage subsidy and introduced new measures like the sickness benefit. Well, this crisis isn't over. Neither is our support.
Neither is our support.
And on that front, I have some important news to share. To begin with, we are extending the Canada Recovery Benefit and the Canada Recovery Caregiving Benefit by 12 weeks.
There's a number
that
of 12
makes
weeks.
The new maximum you can claim 38 weeks in total. If you need support while you look for a job, or if you have to stay home to take care of your family, these benefits will continue to be there for you. We're also extending the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit from the current 2 weeks to a new total of 4 weeks. No
That's
one
huge too.
should be going to work sick right now. It's that simple.
The NDP have been pushing for
And
that.
finally, we are increasing the help available under regular EI claims to 50 weeks in total, meaning 24 more weeks that you can use if you need it.
All right, so obviously this is pretty big news for people who have been waiting for an announcement like this. As of right now, there's no formal press release out on the CRA's website about the exact wording on how this goes. So I'm going to do my best to sort of parse through the information that have been divulged in these two press conferences so you can know exactly what's going on. First off, for anybody on the CRB, you'll remember that you could only apply for a maximum of 13 periods or 26 weeks because each period is 2 weeks long. Now they've extended that another 12 weeks or another 6 application periods. So if you're somebody who was applying for the CRB since the beginning of the program way back in October, you were going to have your benefits end at the end of March. But after this 3-month extension, April, May, June, it's going to be the end of June now that you're going to have to expect for this benefit to end. This also has significant impact for certain people who are using the strategy of only applying for the benefit once per month so that they can make it spread across the entire year instead of only half the year. If you're somebody in that boat and you're eligible for these benefits, it might be best to start claiming all of the benefits so that you can expend the entirety of your available periods that you can apply for. And the same goes for the CRCB, that's the caregiver's benefit. It looked a lot like the CRB, and they're also going to be extending this in exactly the same way. As for the CRSB, that was the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit. It allowed people to take time off of work, up to 10 days off of work before, in order to stay home if they had been advised by a health professional that it's in their best interest to do so. Now, after pressure from the NDP, constant questions in the House of Commons about when they were going to up this program, the Prime Minister has responded and he's saying he's going to double this program up to a maximum of 4 weeks or 20 days of sick pay. And this also means that there's changes for the EI program. In regular circumstances, you could apply for this up to 26 weeks. Now they're extending this an additional 24 weeks, bringing it almost to a year at 50 weeks of EI. So this is a major extension for people who are on that program. Again, it gets a little bit more complex when it comes down to how many insurable hours you worked and whether or not you worked that amount in order to actually receive this. But that gets into the nitty-gritty of the EI, and maybe we can go into those details a little bit later. But as with almost every announcement that the Prime Minister makes, or at least every major one, he follows that up not with himself giving any more information, but passing it on to his federal ministers. So Carla Qualtrough is the employment minister who's handled a lot of these different challenging issues. So likely she's going to speak at this press conference. Let's flip over to that and see if we can get any more information.
Back when we introduced the recovery benefits and flexibilities to the EI program, we said that we would monitor labor market changes and make adjustments as needed. We're still very much in a time of crisis. Restrictions are in place across the country to slow the spread of the virus. We know this is still a really difficult time for many workers and their families. Today's announcement reflects this reality. Nous avons évalué le marché du travail actuel et nous respectons notre engagement de continuer à increase travailleurs. Today, we are pleased to announce that we're going to increase the number of weeks of benefits available for the Canada Recovery Benefit, the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit, the Canada Recovery Caregiving Benefit, and Employment Insurance Regular Benefits. As some workers could begin exhausting their benefits in late March, this increase will ensure continued support as Canada's economy and labour force continue to recover.
All right.
We'll be increasing the number of weeks available under the Canada Recovery Benefit and the Canada Recovery Caregiving Benefit by 12 weeks, thus extending the maximum duration of the benefits from 26 weeks to up to 38 weeks. And we'll be increasing the maximum number of weeks available under the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefits from 2 to 4 weeks. We will make these changes through regulation. We also intend to increase EI regular benefits. Workers will be eligible for up to 50 weeks for claims established between September 27, 2020 and September 25, 2021. This change will have to be made through legislation.
Interesting.
Collaboration by opposition parties will be important in ensuring this continued support. When we've worked together in the past, we've delivered key supports to help millions of workers. Canadians expect the same of all parties again. Ensemble, la prolongation.
Okay, that's interesting. So a couple key takeaways from there. Most of that information was the same as what the Prime Minister delivered to us just before this press conference, but that is one key thing. She's outlining how these changes are going to be made. It seems that for the CRB and the CRCB and likely the CRSB, they're going to be able to change that without working through the processes in the House of Commons, just by changing the regulation of that, likely giving a directive to the CRA in order to sort of change how these benefits are doled out and how many periods you can apply for. You'll remember that when the CERB was being transferred into the CRB, this new form of benefit, there was a lot of delays because they had to get it pushed through Parliament and then also pushed through Senate, and then it had to receive royal assent to actually become law. It seems that for this extension, they're not going to have to go through all of that red tape, so it's more likely that these changes are going to happen more quickly and there will be no delay for benefits. The same, however, can't be said for these changes to EI. Carla Qualtrough here makes the statement that, hey, we're going to need support from the other political parties to get this through the House of Commons so that we can increase this to 50 weeks for EI regular benefits. It'll be interesting to see whether or not the Conservative government will work with them moving forward on this. It's very likely that the NDP government would. This is right up their alley, more workers' benefits, more supports. But whether or not the Conservative Party is going to support this, that remains to be seen. And just yesterday in the video that was just before this video, we saw just how adversarial it's tending to get in the House of Commons right now as they lead up to a potential election. So who knows, this could even be the catalyst for that election if the Conservatives decide not to support these changes. All right, now that you're up to date about that, let's go in and see what other questions were asked of these federal ministers after they made these statements. Usually in these press conferences, reporters in the room, or if it's online, we'll do this over Zoom, they'll be able to ask questions of these ministers. So let's see if there's any more fine details on exactly how this is going to roll out, and if there are going to be any problems or any hitches that Canadians could run into as this extension takes place.
Well, thanks for the important question. You know, paid sick leave has been a key component of our public health response from the beginning. It was eligible under Cerb, and then we highlighted it in our safe recovery agreement with the provinces. And of course, with the recovery sickness benefit, we've been supporting workers who are sick or have to isolate or quarantine because of COVID. We remain absolutely committed to supporting workers. We created the sickness benefit to protect them and to protect their workplaces. We said in August when we created these recovery benefits that we would indeed keep an eye on the labor market. We've heard that a lot of frontline workers, for example, have exhausted the first 2 weeks we offered, so we're adding 2 more weeks. But we also expect provinces to do their part. And provinces still really have a leading role to play in supporting workers, not to duplicate our efforts, but to complicate. You know, we've got good examples in BC and Yukon, and I would just urge provinces to kind of step up for workers and do their part like some of their colleagues have. Thank you.
That's interesting. So she's saying that the Liberal government has been keeping an eye on these unemployment numbers, and that's why they're bringing these benefits forward, as well as the sickness benefit, which is like the sick pay to make sure people aren't going to work when they're experiencing symptoms. Many people didn't expect them to extend this benefit or to make this benefit any easier to access, because for a long time they were saying, hey, this is the problem for the provinces. We already have 2 weeks of sick pay on a federal level, and we've already sent tons of money to provinces, so we're going to say, hey, provinces, you need to take care of this issue. But it seems they've changed their mind on that and have expanded their program. Although with that being said, a lot of people have reported problems with accessing this program and providing the proper proof and documentation in order to receive these benefits. For a lot of people who are living paycheck to paycheck, the waiting and the processing time just isn't going to cut it when they need to put food on their tables, or at least that's a major criticism of the program. So there hasn't been anything that has addressed that, but they have expanded the program an extra 2 weeks. Originally, I wasn't planning on making a video this afternoon, but when I saw this press conference go up, I knew that you would want to have this information as quickly as possible, so I decided to hop on here and make a quick video for you so that you can know. Whenever there's more information available, and typically the CRA puts out a press conference, or rather a press release right after press conferences like this, with the exact wording and the exact documentation on how this is all going to go down. As soon as that's released, I'll make a video on that, going through the exact wording so that you can know for certain that these benefits are going to be extended, and you're not going to have to be worried at the end of March for many people on the CRB, and that's sort of going to be kicked down the road until the end of June. I know a lot of people are going to be excited about this news, so let me know what you think about it down in the comments. With that being said, some people were pushing for the other side of things, not wanting to have these benefits extended and more support being given for more rapid testing and for the creation of jobs. So no matter what your opinion is, let me know down there in the comments. And if you can think of anyone that would be excited or potentially frustrated by this news, feel free to click that share button and send this video their way. And of course, if you haven't already done so, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I'm bringing updates like this that are important to Canadians almost every single day, so if you want to support Canadian content here on YouTube, feel free to click those buttons. And with all of that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope this video helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.